Hello, my friends. My name is Uche Onyebadi, and it's always my pleasure to welcome you to another episode of Cross-Cultural Experience. Now, for those of you who are regular on this forum, this is where I talk about crossing from one culture to another, experiencing something, and then I'm willing to share, or my guest is willing to share that experience. But more importantly, what was learned from that experience? And so if you watched last week, I talked about my visit to China, and I said it was going to be a two-part series. The first one, I was in China, I was in Beijing, and being a journalism professor, I decided to see if I could go to the People's Daily, that newspaper, their office that was very close to my hotel, and then found it to be mission impossible. And that immediately told me something about the structure of the Chinese media, that it is well centralized, and the media over there, they serve the interests of the ruling party. I was shocked. Not that I didn't know anything about media in China, I did, but there's a difference, like I said last week, between academic and real life experience. So I knew about academic life or the academic experience. And then when I got to Beijing, I found out the practical experience that media, real state controlled. You can't joke with it. But like I said, that's their culture. If it works for them, so be it. Some of us grew up in the Western, culture of the media with Western values, and we never experienced that kind of thing. So that's just how they live, and it works for them, like I said. So today I said I was going to talk about the other part of my experience in China. Now, for those of you who have visited China, especially Beijing, Beijing is, I think, 21 million, about 21 million people. So it's like every time you're on the streets, it's like a football match the World Cup had just ended, and people were just trooping out of the stadium. People, people. I was shocked to see that number of people all over. Now, it's not as if they don't have cars. It's not as if there isn't traffic jam, but people are always walking all over, all over. You see old women on bicycles, 80 years old, some men going on to 90. People are just moving all over the place, you know. And so I was also asking myself, now let me rewind. When I came back, and I had my regular, doctor's checkup. And then my doctor asked me, look, it looks like everything is okay. Check this, check that. You're doing fine. What's going on? Have you started going to the gym? I said, no, I don't go to the gym. So something must have taken place. I said, doctor, I went to China. I think you better go back to China because you're looking so healthy. I said, okay, give me the visa. I will go back. Probably live in Beijing. But what I'm about to say, will even tell you a little bit about, the lifestyle, because this is cross-cultural experience. The lifestyle I saw in Beijing, you know, let's not even talk about the food they eat, because what we call Chinese food over here is just adulterated. Nobody eats this kind of thing in Beijing. It's totally different. Here it's so soggy, it's so oily, it has everything. No, healthy food, but I'm not talking about the food itself. I'm talking about how people move around. I went to shave my hair and I asked them, okay, where can I get a barber shop? They said, oh, it's just around the corner. Around the corner was almost 1 mile. So they expected me to just trek 1 mile and just go, come back. No problem. That's how so people are very trained, generally very trained. And so all over the city of Beijing, you go to this place, you see a little bit of park, with everything you need for your exercise. So you can actually be coming back from work, stop over there, exercise, and then move home. So there is a lot of movement. Unlike some societies where you are in the car, you're in your house, with the air conditioner. You get out of the house, you get into your car, you drive to the office, take the elevator, go to your office, sit all day, come back, do the same thing. No, people move around, and I think it's very, very healthy. That was a good experience I had in China, where you need to be mobile. It's not every time you want to go from point A to B that should take you 5 minutes, you jump into the car. You jump into the car. No, they move around. But the experience that really struck me, and this is the one I'm going to share with you, is we went to, I believe it's in the western part of China, where they have terracotta. It's a place full of cultural origin cultural things. You just see the terracotta, the soldiers, in somewhere to some emperor. I mean, I can't describe it. So on the street, when we were coming back to catch our train back to Beijing, I just, in the morning hours. So I noticed my colleague, an Indian professor. So we noticed that there were elderly people around, some kind of park, shaded area. Some people were doing their yoga. Some people were doing all forms of exercises. Some people were just walking from point A to B, doing something. The elderly people were actually doing something. You ask this one, how old are you? 70. You ask this one, how old are you? 90 something, 80 something. And they were looking so fit. I said, is this the secret to how these guys live? Longevity is something that is very common over there. They eat well and they move around. They're not unlike us. We're always seeking the maximum comfort. Even something we can just trek from here to there, we jump into the car. You get to your office, instead of taking the staircase, you get into the elevator, just the next floor. So these people were having a good time dancing. Can you imagine? They were just dancing. I'm telling you, exercises, all forms of, and these people were in groups, men, women, elderly people. So I asked them, okay, is this what you do? Yes. Oh, yeah. So they come out in the morning hours before, I start doing all sorts of exercises, yoga, like I said, dancing, running around a little bit. And when the sun just appears, they go back home. In the evening, they come back. They come back and repeat the same thing. Tell me, why will they not be fit? People are not just thrown into old people's home where you die faster than the good Lord probably had this destined for you. So that was what they're doing. And you know what? They were very friendly. So what I did was, I said, let me take a chance. I always like taking chances. And I said, I approached one of the ladies there. I think she said she was 80-something years old. I said, can I join the dance? Oh, you're most welcome. So we started dancing. I enjoyed myself. We started dancing for almost a minute. And after which I felt very, light. I felt good. I can imagine doing this morning and evening. You don't have to go to the gym and go and pay exorbitant, fees to be in the gym and start lifting weights and collapse in the process. All these little things that add something to your life. So that was my cross-cultural experience in China. The other one was, government regulation, but that's just the people. It was a wonderful experience. So I decided that I'm going to share don't laugh, my dancing with everybody who watches this program. So enjoy my dance with one of the old ladies I met over there in China. And remember, if you want to be part of this program, all you need to do is to email me crossculturalexperiences@gmail.com, crossculturalexperiences@gmail.com. Maybe you and I can go back to China and then have a good dance. Who knows? All right. Take care and stay well and enjoy the dance.
Very good.
Okay.